With the Rocket League Championship Series Winter Major closing in and having the last week of regional events happening this week, I think it's a good time to have a look and to see who could potentially be the last slots for Europe and do predictions of the last regional from Europe. If you enjoyed this kind of content, would really appreciate if you subscribe. Anyway, we will be moving on to the predictions. So I'll be starting off with Group A. So the Group A in the last regional is Team BDS, Misfits, Luminosity, and Coxer's Minions. So in the first matchup, BDS against Coxer's Minions, I don't think that Coxer's Minions will be able to do any damage against BDS, and BDS are just looking way better and more pressure based as a team, as there are a lot of there's a bit of a retro playstyle to Coxer's Minions that doesn't really adapt that well to the modern meta. However, I do think that they still have a chance of throwing off maybe a couple of games here and there, but at the moment I think it will be a 3-0 so far. Misfits and Luminosity. Luminosity all the time in the regionals has had a good run. They always were stalked by Dig. Thankfully, Dignitas is not in their group this time. However, Misfits is also in the major contention. Actually, all of the teams are. However, I do think that Misfits will actually be able to take this one, but in a very, very close series. Luminosity is looking very good sometimes. Misfits is all over the place, but I think the peak of Misfits is a bit higher than Luminosity's, but they're very equal in terms of how they play. Okay, next up, BDS Luminosity. I will do something spicy, and I do think that Luminosity will actually pull an upset, but in a very, very close match, I think would be very fun, because I do think that we will see these crazy upsets coming in this regional. As usually in the last regional events, there's always some kind of fiesta happening throughout the bracket phase. Okay, Misfits, Coxer's Minions. This will be a 3-1. There is a bit of a notable skill difference between Coxer's Minions and the rest of the teams in this group. In general, in the rest of the teams in the top 16, they're very consistent, but only consistent around this 16th place range. They were a bit iffy in the close qualifiers, but I think they're always at least maintain that top 16 range in Europe. BDS Misfits. So BDS has already qualified, so I do think that they'll be demotivated. The same thing that I could kind of justify the loss to them to Luminosity. So I would say that it will be a 3-2 as well. Will be a close game. Misfits definitely is a bit motivated to get those slots in. I think Misfits could maybe snipe a win, but I think it will just be a close game in the end when BDS taking it. Okay, we have Luminosity and Coxer's Minions. I think that will be 3-1. Coxer's Minions at least taking one game. And now we have a tiebreaker for first. BDS versus Misfits. Well, we had already the same match, so it would be a replay of the last match that happened. And I would say, like I mentioned previously, there would be this bit motivation happening from Misfits side. So I do think that Misfits this time will pull the upset, and BDS will be in lower bracket, and Misfits will be the team that automatically will go to the upper bracket. Now we move on to Group B, which is Dignitas, Evil Geniuses, Carmine Corp, and Rix. I think this is one of the more stacked groups, especially at the top level for the #1 slot. So let's check out. First of all, Dignitas versus Rix. Dignitas has been looking always the favorite. They're a bit starting to drop some inconsistencies here and there, especially during the last few regional events. However, against Rix, I do think this will be a proper stomp, and it will be a 3-0. Evil Geniuses, Carmine Corp. Both of the teams in a very close contention, similar situation as Luminosity and Misfits from Group A. Evil Genius has been looking a bit more consistent, whereas Carmine Corp has been looking a bit up and down in their performances. They have that potential to squeeze in to even be like top 4 range in Europe easily, but at the moment I would say that at the way how things are looking, that Evil Geniuses will take, but it will be a very close fight. Dignitas Carmine Corp. Using the similar analogy as it was previously, Carmine Corp will have a bit more motivation, especially if after the first game they're a bit warmed up. They'll realize, oh, we actually have a shot of making the major through like this kind of system. In this environment, in the last groups, you want to get at #1 in each group. So Carmine Corp will be starting to maybe pull an upset here and there with a very close fight. Rix Evil Geniuses. 3-1, I believe that will be. Rix is a bit like in a similar state as Coxer's Minions. They're in like that 12-20 range, I would say. Dignitas Evil Geniuses. Despite Evil Geniuses shoving a very sick performance last regional, and Dignitas looking a bit iffy, I do think that Dignitas overall is a bit more solid as a team, and definitely way more mechanical, they have this outplay-like play style that I think counters Evil Geniuses' current type of playing way more. So I would say that 3-1 will be in favor of Dignitas. Now we have Carmine Corp versus Rix. Rix could potentially snipe some points. I already went for the spicy take that Carmine will beat Dignitas. I do think that Carmine will take it either way. Oh wow, now we have a tiebreaker for first place. I think this would be a very high pressure match if this was in this scenario, because if you win this one, you basically get top 6 automatically. It's gonna be 3-2 again, like it was here. Let's just see what kind of fiesta can happen, because Europe can be all over the place anyway. Group C, we have Queso, Vitality, 00 Nation, and Guild. Okay, let's start off from the get-go. Vitality is not looking that great. They keep getting in the main event due to the points ranking. However, I don't think that they really belong. Like, that spark is not there anymore. They have a chance of being at the bottom and it can be even eliminated. I think this will be the roster that, even though they have stuck for so long, this will be the time when we'll potentially see a disband or some major changes maybe coming to the spring split even. So that being said, and Queso looking pretty good. Starting off with the Group C matches, Queso will be taking Guild 3-1. Guild can still pull an upset. They did beat BDS in the last couple of regionals as well. Maybe potentially got the upper bracket run. Vitality, 00 Nation. These two teams are very equal in terms of how their placement. A lot of the players and teams do know that Vitality is a bit on this, is on its way down. It will give that mental boost as well for some of these teams to potentially snipe some of Vitality's plays, some mistakes, inconsistencies. And I think 00 Nation will actually be able to take down Vitality due to this. Queso, 00 Nation. Queso will be taking 2 Queso, but however, I do think that 00 Nation will be able to put up a bit of a fight as well. Queso very, very mechanical, but I think that this will be a close fight in the end. 00 Nation can surprise us. It's one of those dark horses that are in the European region around this top 8, top 16 range teams. Vitality, Guild. Guild will be taking down Vitality. I'm quite confident about that. Queso, Vitality. I believe this could be a 3-0, 100%ly. Like the way how the modern environment has developed, the motivation Queso has as well. Probably knowing that Vitality is not looking in the best form, I think this will be a 3-0 sweep for Queso. 00 Nation and Guild. I do see Guild a bit higher than 00 Nation, however, quite close, to be honest. Both teams are looking very sharp and very equal in terms of how they play and how they place as well. So far looking like the Queso will be the team that's going out and Vitality will be the one who will be eliminated. Alright, and last group we have Endpoint, Semper, Williams Resolve, and Navi. I will say that Navi looked pretty decent in the close qualifiers. They did beat Stormtroopers, Heroic, and 00 Nation in the close quals. And I do think that Navi might have a good shot at having a decent placement in this regional, because I felt like Virtuoso probably has gotten a bit in the groove of things and started to become a bit more of a team player. And I think in the last close qualifier definitely showed that. So let's see how they will potentially do in this group. So Endpoint Navi is our first match. Endpoint will be taking this one. I'm kind of in a Navi supporter at the moment. However, I don't think it will be enough to take them down. However, it will be a close match in the end. Semper and Williams Resolve. Semper have not looking that great lately. Even though they played top 4 in the last major, they're always feels like a bit in the shadow. There's like, they don't feel like the top world team. And I felt like in this split, it also didn't feel like that they're even the top European team. They're still pretty good, but not that top 4 potential, let's say. Williams Resolve will actually challenge them quite a bit and will take the win from them. Endpoint, Williams Resolve. Endpoint not looking the best like they did previously, especially in the last split. In a similar state as Semper has, but they still are, well, at the top of the game. They will look sharp, but I don't think it will be that Endpoint that could be potential major winning type of team. But we'll still take down Williams Resolve. Semper Navi. And I do think that Navi will be pulling a bit of an upset and will actually beating Semper this time around with a very, very close fight though. I kind of see that for this coming into this regional that Navi and Semper are looking quite close in the way how they potentially could play. But I do think that Navi could be taking the upswing this time. Endpoint and Semper. Point will be 100%ly taking down Semper with a 3-0. It's a bit of a quite noticeable gap because I do think Semper could potentially take down some games. Despite both teams not looking a bit more down, Endpoint is still a better team and might even get a 3-0 at least from my decision. Okay, Navi and Williams Resolve. I think this will be the closer matches. But instead of Navi winning, I think that it will be Williams Resolve taking it. They have that bit upper edge when it comes down to both of these matchups, and it will be Williams Resolve taking the win. So we have Endpoint taking the upper seed, Williams Navi taking the 2-3, and Semper eliminated. A bit of an upset, I think, but like I said, in Europe anything can happen, and this is Regional 3. There's always a fiesta happening. Alright, time for the lower bracket run. So we have first match, oh my goodness, again. Poor Luminosity always gets ruined by Dignitas. It looks like it's gonna be the same thing here. Sorry Luminosity, but again, like that's some kind of curse. Just a bit of a shame, Guild and Navi. Despite being fanboying about Navi, I do think that Guild will be still able to take this one down. Guild is a bit better team. They both, Guild and Navi, did place the same kind of placements. However, Guild did beat a bit better teams than Navi did. And despite Navi looking pretty sharp, I think the Guild, especially with CRR in their roster, are looking better as Navi, and they will take them down in this matchup. Wait, we have quite a bit of upswing now. This was previously the upper bracket match in the last region. Now it's the lower one. Yeah, true EU moment. I do think that BDS will still take you down with a pretty dominant fashion as well. Quite a spicy lower bracket run, to be honest. And Williams Resolve and 0-0 Nation. I'll go for Williams Resolve, actually. I think they will be able to take it down. Yeah, I think this looks fair so far. Williams Resolve definitely can look squeezing the top 8. I think they have a bit of an upper edge. They're a bit more consistent as well than 0-0 Nation. And I do think that they could take this matchup against 0-0 Nation. Okay, next up we have Dignitas and Guild. I think Dignitas has been looking like they always do these lower bracket runs throughout the European regionals this split. And if this will be the case, then I do think that they will continue their run. I'll be taking down Guild in this match and we'll move on to top 6. BDS will be on upswing as well. However, I think that Williams Resolve will put up a fight, and it will not be a clean sweep from BDS side. Now if we look up on the upper bracket, we have Misfits versus Endpoint and Carmine Corp versus Queso. So Misfits Endpoint are one of the teams that I kind of can see they can be very similar in the way how they play. But I will say Misfits might be looking pretty good here. And I think they will take him down with a 4-2. Misfits is one of those teams that's very close in major contention. I think this will be the regional. They will be taking themselves together and showcasing what this roster is actually capable of doing and how they can clinch the major spots just like that. Okay, then we have Carmine Corp and Team Queso. Carmine Corp, like I mentioned previously, they are the top 4 potential team. However, they very lack the consistency. Okay, so this split has been looking like an S tier team from Europe. They will be able to still showcase that. They'll take down Carmine Corp with a 4-1 victory. Then if we go to the lower brackets, like the top 6 range, so we have Endpoint and Dignitas, something that would look like as a final match. In this scenario, Dignitas will take them down. Dignitas is no joke. Endpoint is looking a bit iffy. And I feel like that Endpoint might struggle if this was the case in this kind of match. Carmine Corp BDS. Carmine Corp can definitely take themselves together. Carmine Corp is a team that I can see them taking down BDS as well. It's very, very close in terms of the skill differences between some of the teams in Europe. And in this case, I would say that Team BDS will still take it. However, I think it will be game 7 overtime as well. So to make it a bit more spicy. But I think the BDS will still be coming out on top. Then we have Dignitas versus BDS. 2 sick rosters meeting themselves in lower semifinals. In this situation, I will say that Team BDS will still continue on with their run. However, Dignitas will put up a fight. But I just see BDS being a bit more superior team in this regard. Alright, now we have the last couple of matches. First one is the upper bracket final. Misfits versus Team Queso. Queso has been looking very sharp throughout all of the region. This will be the regional, where Misfits does showcase that they are like this potential S tier team, clinch their spot in the major, and put themselves in the grand final through a game 7 win above Team Queso. And due to that, we will get like a potential final in the lower bracket final. Well, makes sense. Europe is pretty stacked, so most of the top 8 is quite a final potential like matches. So in this match, I do see that despite Queso looking very, very sharp, and BDS as well, Team Queso will be the one who will take down BDS. And we will see the upper bracket final rematch. And in game 1 of the grand finals, Misfits will not be the same Misfits as here, as I see that Queso and Misfits can potentially be it as the same tier teams. And Team Queso will take the first set. And then in the second one, Misfits will be taking them down with a 4-2 victory and will be winning their very first regional, and due to that clinching a spot in the major as well. And afterwards, my predictions and all predicting the individual match results, these look like my standings. So 13 to 16 is Vitality, Semper, Rix, and Cuxer's minions. Probably the biggest surprise here being the Semper put on a potential upset, being put here down here. 9 to 12 range could be 0-0 Nation, Evil Geniuses, Luminosity, and Navi. 7 to 8, Guild and Williams Resolve. 5th and 6th, Endpoint and Carmine Corp. Number 4, Dignitas. Number 3, BDS. Number 2, Team Queso and the Misfits winning the last regional, spicing up in terms of how will the regional placements will look like. And throughout these predictions, if this scenario was the one who was played, then Team Queso, BDS, Dignitas, Team Misfits, and Endpoint will be the teams who will be representing Europe in the winter major in Los Angeles. If you enjoyed this style of video, make sure to give a like and subscribe. Anyway, that's gonna be it for me today. Thank you all for watching and see you later. Bye bye.